So, what was it like meeting fellow YouTubers and modelers from down under? Come back after the titles and I'll tell you. Hey everybody, Anthony Dodge, the Model Train Outsider, the Maryland Outsider, here with a discussion on meeting fellow modelers down under in Australia. I'm going to start this off right away. I did not video a lot of the model train stuff. And, well, let's just talk about it and we'll pick it up as we go along. Our trip to Australia was amazing. And right away, I'll tell you, if anybody is interested in just videos from the trip, Joyce is putting up a series of them on her channel. I tend to video, she photographs, but I put the videos for our travels on her channel, A, to give her some content, and B, just not to overwhelm my channel. So just follow the link below and go check out some of the Australia trip videos. The only video I put up on my channel was the trip to the Model Train Museum, as well as some shorts of some cool things we saw. But anyhow, we did not go to Australia with the intent of meeting a bunch of fellow YouTubers in the model train community. We knew we were going to, but our goal was to go hang out with Arty and see what we could of Australia while we were down there. It was new and different, and we had a great time. We really had a blast, and I could take 3 hours to explain how cool it was. But let's get into this. So I just want to talk about some of the model train YouTubers we met. And of course, we got to start off with Arty. Now, most of you who watch this channel know that I have been co-hosting a live stream with Arty for 2 years, I think now. I didn't look up the dates before I started this video. Arty had a live stream going for a while, and I got to become friends with Arty. And then he wanted to do a live stream from a live place. And for whatever reason, he asked me if I would co-host that particular show to keep the stream live in case he got somewhere where he would lose signal. I would be able to keep the stream alive. And of course, we did run into those problems, and I clowned around. I really thought he would watch the replay of it and kick me off, but instead, he kind of asked me to become a permanent co-host. And so from Saturdays at 8 o'clock U.S. Eastern Time, it's usually 10 o'clock a.m. Sunday morning his time, but it's 8 o'clock Saturday night, which is not great for the UK audience or the European audience because it's late night. It's 1, 2 a.m. when we're on. And we do get some Australians who come in and so forth. But anyhow, I just want to talk about the model train aspect. Arty has an amazing little built-up layout that he is in the process of revising. And he's got an amazing collection. He opened the closet to the room he's at, and it's just piled with boxes of freight, passengers, and locos. Stuff that people don't get to see because it's a small bedroom he is running his layout in, and he really does an amazing job to show what he can show when he is operating his trains. Of course, he's been in the process of rebuilding it, so his trains hadn't been running, but recently he's got it. But it was awesome. And we could just go on forever about Arty, but when it comes to that, we did eventually, towards the end of our stay in Australia, we went to a shop, and as a birthday present and as a thank you, I bought him a locomotive. It was the least I could do. I also bought some sound decoders for him, and it was the least I could do for everything he did for us. But it was amazing hanging out with Arty, and I know it's a long journey for most of us in this part of the country, and it's a 14-hour flight from LA if you don't get diverted to Honolulu, which is sort of a good bad thing if it happens to you. But yeah, it was amazing meeting Arty. But so our second night, our first full day, but our second night in Australia, Arty had a barbecue in which a couple of other Australian modelers came up. One you would only know if you really are a longtime watcher of Arty stream, and that was Richard Demaagd. Richard, I don't even know that he has a YouTube channel, but he comes into the Arty's live streams now and then. Life's been busy and hectic for him, so he hasn't been popping up as much. But the one thing I will say about Richard is he models. He actually works in the Australian railway industry, but he custom makes, as does Arty. But he custom makes a lot of Australian trains and stock from the eras and areas that he models. And he is amazing at it. He is very, very skilled at it. He and his brother, I think they're members of a club, model railway club down there, where he lives just outside of Wollongong, Dapo. And but very nice guy. It was very great to talk to him. Unfortunately, we were so busy chatting and talking, we really didn't film much. We just sat around and talked, and it just seemed like it might be kind of rude to take out the camera and start filming. I should have filmed more, but I do have a little bit of video of us talking that I'm playing in the corners here, and Joyce did take some photographs. But it was an honor to meet Richard. I have liked Richard from the first time he came on, that I saw him on Arty's stream, and just was impressed with his work. And if he does have a YouTube channel, I will pop a link. I mean, if he did, I would have been subscribed to it by now. But I really think he just watches YouTube and doesn't really post as much on it. But I will double check and feel bad if I say he doesn't have a channel, because yeah. But at the same barbecue, we also got to meet Les. Now, many Americans, I think, would know Les, at least the American crews I hang around with. He is the We Us Co Railroad, which I always read as Western U.S. Colorado Railroad, and he finally clarified it to me that no, it's We Us Co Railroad. Les. So you might not recognize him, but you might recognize the name, because I was always telling people it's Western United States Colorado Railroad. Never heard of it, and that's because it doesn't exist. He said, no, the name is from a group he's with, which they called the We Us Co, We Us Company, and Model Railroad. Now, Les is a savant. The man is a mechanical engineering genius. He builds cars, trucks. He custom makes them for other people. He also has audio music background. His son's in a country rock band in Australia that's had some success. But he does audio, sound, and everything. I mean, he's one of these guys that pretty much he's a genius in everything he touches. And it's sort of, I don't want to say the opposite of me. My problem is he's very mechanically genius, very well versed in all these things. I'm more on the academic, verbal, literary spectrum on that side, and I handle myself mechanically, but this guy's a sheer genius. I mean, it's amazing, and he custom builds stuff with his trains. Again, he doesn't post a lot on YouTube, but he is on YouTube, and he was up here with his friend Charlie from the club. Charlie's been doing model trains, I think Charlie said, for 60 years, so good on him. But we had a great cookout. We celebrated Joyce's birthday. We celebrated Arty's birthday. And we had a good time coming together. And Les drove many hours to come down and meet us. And again, it goes back to when we were in the UK, and Philip Page, who drove a ways just to try to catch us for 5 minutes between trains, wanted to meet us. People that drove quite a distance to people that came to York to meet me and Joyce, and they're saying, we came to meet you. And I'm like, no, 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 we came to meet you. So it was an honor to meet Richard and Les, and that they considered it, from their point of view, that they were there to meet us, and we're like, no, 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 we're here to meet you. It's Mutual Admiration Society. It was amazing to just listen to Les and Richard and Arty talk about trucks and cars, and because I do have an interest in cars, specifically Dodges, we know, but just to listen to what these guys have done, see pictures of what they've done. Amazing work, both in the model train and other areas. And we also met, for example, we met Richard's wife, and she was really wonderful to meet. And we met Colleen, an acquaintance of Arty's that they go back a ways. But we had a good time, and it was just wonderful to meet all these people. But unfortunately, we didn't film a lot. And of course, we just came to talk, so we didn't really have model trains we were going to break out and run and so forth, and wouldn't have had the space to go into Arty's to mess with everything, because really only one or two people could stand in Arty's room at one time. I know the couple of times Arty was messing with trains when we were getting ready to go to bed or whatever, and Arty felt he had free time to work with his trains. I would just go peek in and see what he's doing, and I'd stand at the doorway and look in and see this layout that I've seen on TV and see some of these trains, and it was great. But to meet Richard and Les was really cool, and just to it was a shame that Les had to hit the road when he did, because I could have listened to his stories for another day and a half. Just brilliant man. What a history he's had in his life, and what an amazing memories he has of all the things he created and built, and the pictures he shared with us, and so on. It was great. Okay, so that leads us on to the town of Goulburn. And Goulburn itself, and again, there's a video about it on Joyce's channel, but Goulburn is an amazingly pretty city, but it's sort of like middle Australia and middle era Australia, the Victorian era of Australia caught in a bubble. So much of Australia you have, like in Sydney, you have the old history and then the new modern construction, and some of the eras just kind of get torn down and moved on. But Goulburn is like 1870s, 1880s Australia trapped in a bubble. And I say that with love and respect, because it was really cool. This was a major part of history in Australia. Goulburn at one time was a big, wealthy town as such, and played a key role in part of the Australian rail, coal, and history. But we went to Goulburn to meet Gary. Now, some of you may know Gary because for years he was online as Creepy013. Now, that's maybe a creepy name to begin with, but it's, Gary kind of began disappearing off of YouTube about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. Well, I shouldn't say that. About a year and a half ago. Health issues and other things have crept in. But Gary did some amazing train work. And those of you who know Gary's channel, Creepy013, I think it's still up, and I think the old videos are still there. Gary built some amazing custom-made modules for his train station. The one I remember so much was the Crystal Cavern. This is a fictional thing, but it's a train going through this elaborate crystal cavern, and it was so beautiful. It was one of the coolest things I'd ever seen, and it was just so impressive. And then he had a boat docking area that the trains went by, and he had all these different things. But Gary has gotten out of the model train. The expense, the repairing, the upkeep of the trains themselves, and that is with some of his issues that he's had, have taken him away from, he just he's torn down all his, he's given away some of it, sold some of it, the rest of it's boxed up. He's taken down all his modules except for some basic outlines, and it's still in the old train room. But in many ways it's sad because he was an amazing creator. But he's now into modeling. He builds militaria and ships, and he's got some really cool dioramas he's been building that I got a chance to see. And no, I didn't photograph because, you know, camera was set down somewhere, and I just went in and we talked. And you know, you hate to say, excuse me, could you stop talking and tell me these great stories while I film this? And so once again, I feel really bad I didn't film some of these models and dioramas he was building. I wasn't thinking future shows. But we met Gary and his wife. Beautiful home and beautiful backyard. Very, he and his wife really, it's a classic. It's a 140-year-old house. And they've modernized it on the inside. It's beautiful. And like I said, their yard is really, really sculpted and designed up. It's just a beautiful residence. And again, it was an honor to meet Gary because I've been impressed with him for years with the work he did. And I said I fell in love with that Crystal Cavern. It was an amazing piece of work, and I will try to find video of it. And if he's still got it up on his channel, I'll pop something up here in the corner. But Gary is another man with a great history, great knowledge. He walked us around Goulburn and told us some of the history of the town, so we saw a lot of it. And then he took us down to the old steam waterworks, which was impressive and a beautiful location too. And it was just, again, it was an honor and a pleasure to meet Gary and his wife, and the five of us just really had a great several hours together. We were driving down to Melbourne. Goulburn was just a stop on the way. I hate to say just a stop. It was an intended stop, but we stayed as long as we could. I'm sure they would have happily had to stay longer, but we had to hit the road. And that leads us to our next modeler. And this was also an honor and a pleasure. We went down to the Melbourne area, and just outside Melbourne in the town of Pakenham is one of my, I use superlatives a lot, but he really is one of my favorites. Longtime friend of the channel, up there with so many people I could name: Tim Dowd, Christopher from the hobby blogs. So many I could name, and I apologize that I don't sit here and name you all off. But I've known him. He was one of the earliest channels, non-German speaking channels I've subscribed to, along with all the UK channels. But Greg has always been, and Greg's channel, by the way, is Midsummer Railway N Scale. And so many of you might know Greg. Now again, Greg, the last couple of years, has been relatively silent on YouTube, although he has come back recently. Greg has had severe health issues, and then in the middle of that, these negatives, he had the great positive. He became a grandfather for the first time. But Greg's health issues and his post-surgeries treatments, have knocked him for a loop. And the medicines he's on and some of the treatments he still has to do makes it very hard for him to do a lot of things. But he is back. He's trying. And if he gets one video up a month, I'll be thrilled because it's still an honor. The man is a technical wizard. He, again, go to his channel if you've never heard of him, and go back to his videos where he's showing how he lights up and controls his original layout. He's in the process of remodeling parts of his layout, which is great to see because he's doing it. And he did a live stream with me, and only a few people caught it because it was unannounced. We just decided to do it. And but meeting Greg has been one of the biggest supporters of my channel, and especially when my channel transitioned from the original format of my channel into, I guess you would say, its current version with the pun songs and the Matt Clark stuff. He has been a huge supporter of that. I think he has said he's a huge fan of both. I mean, you can see his comments on almost every Matt Clark and pun song video we did. He has been extremely supportive. He even guest sang on one of our songs. And he's another guy that his whole system is Arduinos. It's very complex and designed. He's got an amazing studio production for his thing, which I wish I understood a bit more, because I think I could do more with all my cameras and everything. In fact, I think he just posted a video today or last night as I'm speaking, where he was showing his 9 cams. Actually, it was a premiere video, which unfortunately, yeah, it was this morning because I was still in bed sleeping. It was about 4 a.m. my time when he did it, which sucks because I would have happily popped in and chatted away. But Greg and his wife Kathleen, we went out to lunch. Again, a beautiful house. She treated us to an amazing little snack lunch, a tea, wonderful cakes and cookies, which she made. And then we went out for lunch at the Club Officers in the township of Officer outside of Pakenham, between Melbourne and Pakenham, Australia. And very good dinner. And we just, again, it was wonderful chatting. It was hard to leave, but I really did get to play a lot, and I did film some of Greg's layout, and I'm popping those videos up on both corners here, as well as a little bit from his live stream, because it was an honor to meet him. And I say that all the time because it is an honor to meet these people. And the funny thing is, Greg is like, no, the honor's ours. I mean, you came all the way down here to see me. You came to Australia to see me. I says, well, yeah, we came to Australia, and we knew that if we were in Australia, we were going to do everything in our power to come down and see you. Greg is an amazing man, a brilliant man. His wife is lovely, brilliant too. They were just such a great couple. And as always, the hardest thing is knowing this person is fighting for recovery. You have to be careful not to tire them out, as much as you both want to hang out, and it's an excitement, and that excitement can tire you and stress you out. So anyhow, I know this is just me yakking a bit, but I wanted to put this video up there. It was so great to meet these people, because I've chatted with them online and off and on for anywhere from 2 to 4 or 5 years. And I don't know if I'll ever get to meet them in person again, but at least next time we catch each other online, there's definitely something more special about it now to meet them, because I have admired, honored, and loved these people from a distance. So to meet, and that's what's the great thing, is the people that Joyce and I open up to, the people that Joyce and I really think we like them from YouTube, and then when we meet them in real life, it confirms it. It's not like, oh, you're a wall. You're not who you seem to be on camera. You are who you are on camera, which is what we liked. So it was just great to meet them. It was an absolute joy to meet all of these people, and I know Joyce feels the same way. As I'm filming this, Joyce would have been filming this with me, but Joyce is recuperating from a nasty fall she had yesterday playing tennis. Mangled her whole left side of her body, so she's in all sorts of bandages and stuff, and just wasn't in the mood to appear on camera. But anyhow, it was awesome. I just wish I had the videos to share with you, like I did from the York National Railway Museum and these other places, because it started and ended with Arty. And the Arty is, like a few other people, has become a brother from another mother. a brother from another mother down under. How's that? The love that has grown even bigger between Joyce and me with Arty cannot be underestimated. We had a great time. We can argue things and then have a laugh 5 minutes later. And it was epic meeting Arty, and he's another technical wizard here. He really knows his stuff, and I'm in awe because this is stuff I am still, even after 8 years in this hobby, I'm still relatively new to, and I haven't put the effort into learning some of this that these people have been doing. But the stories, the backgrounds, both in trains and in life, were a joy to listen to. But to meet these people, and I can't play favorites. Obviously, we got to hang out 3 weeks with Arty, but being able to get down and see Gary and Greg was very special. Les coming down to visit us was very special, and just really tugs at your heartstrings that somebody was willing to travel the way they traveled and had to travel to come down and see us. And that just made it amazing. So to Les and his friends, to Richard and your wife, to Greg and family, to Gary and family, thanks for the hospitality you showed us when we crashed your houses. Thanks for sharing the time with us, for being wonderful hosts to us. It was brilliant, and Joyce and I just can't thank you enough. It was an honor and a privilege to meet you all. And every time we now will cross paths on YouTube somehow, it's just going to be that much more special to us. So on that note, again, thank you to everybody down under. It was beautiful down there. Even when the weather didn't cooperate, there was something to be really positive and feel good about. And we knew we were going down in the late fall, early winter of that part of Australia, but it all worked out, and it was an amazing trip, and we met amazing people. So again, thanks to Les, Gary and family, Greg and family, Richard and family, and a special thanks to Arty. And hopefully things will be a little bit back to normal with my live streams now that this trial I was on is over. And that's a story in and of itself. So on behalf of Joyce, who just unfortunately did not want to be on camera right now, I'm going to say, Auf Wiedersehen, tschüss, happy trains. Take care, everybody.